Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus has rung the changes ahead of South Africa's second Nations Championship match against Scotland on Saturday. There are 10 changes to the starting 15, with the coach having a look to test his depth with an eye on next year's Rugby World Cup. One such change is Embrose Papier running out as scrumhalf in the green and gold, just reward for his brilliant performances in this season's United Rugby Championship. Your thoughts on Scotland, particularly given your performances against Glasgow Warriors and Edinburgh over the years? How do you feel that they, as a national team, have grown, but also at franchise level, how difficult it is to play them?
Yeah, there will definitely be some confidence there for me and most of the guys who's played against them, but we know they are a tough side to play against. Glasgow have showed it a lot of times, also Edinburgh, so it's going to be a difficult task for us, but I feel we just need to stick to our processes and plans, and then I think if we just connect as a team, everything will be fine.
And lastly, in English, what's it like being back with the Springboks and donning the green and gold yet again?
Yeah, super excited to be back with all of the guys, and it's great to see them again. But yeah, there is some nerves. I think before every test match there's some nerves. But yeah, I'm just grateful to be back with the team and just to learn and take as much info as I can.
We don't at all think that Scotland is going to be easier than England. I think if you actually look at the stats with them finishing higher than England and beating England in the Six Nations and what they did last week to Argentina, it's going to be maybe a tougher test match. So first of all, we believe in the guys that we pick here, and then, as you say rightly so, it's a year and a half out to a year out from the World Cup. That's what we found out in 2018 and 2022 normally. That's when you start seeing which guys can make it to the World Cup. And although we're playing in a competition, we have to roll the dice every now and then. And yeah, we feel these guys need a good opportunity.
Speaking of, in the press conference, we didn't get our math right, but it's probably 25 odd caps across the board in the team. How do you manage opportunity while also maintaining that winning momentum in the team?
Yeah, it's probably trying here and there to keep some good stability in the team. Having a guy like Andre, who will be vice captain, leading the backs, and then having a guy like Jesse who runs the defense more or less for us on the field, and then in the forwards, Grobbies doesn't have a lot of caps, but he's experienced. He's played a lot of first-class rugby at a high level, and a guy from Boan who comes from Scotland, played there for one of their clubs. A guy like Ruan, not a lot of test caps, but he certainly was one of our really solid guys, and then start building with Peter Steff, who's a really experienced player, and then start puzzling in other players around him, and hopefully the attack will work with Andre, and hopefully the defense with Jesse, and yeah, so you try and mix it up a little bit and giving your best chance of performing well.
Talk us through Embrose Papier. He's picked to start in the number 9 jumper. Real just reward for the brilliant season he's had in the URC.
No, definitely. I don't think any of us can argue that he put up his hand very high. All of us could see that. Yeah, and I guess it's more combination. And I don't think any of us ever doubted his ability to play Springbok rugby again. It's just there was really, really class 9s who did really well and who was in form and won World Cups and won the rugby championships and stuff. So there's some of them who's injured now, some of them who's getting on the old side now, and yeah, he certainly, although we have got 4 9s in our group now, he deserves it, and hopefully at his home field with a 10 that he normally plays with, hopefully that settles the nerves, and he can show who Embrose Papier is, which we all know who we are.
We know and love. Let's talk about Damian Willemse. What a performance he had last week, man of the match officially, moving him to 12. What is the thinking behind that?
Well, again, the thinking is, we have to get some game time into Fassi. Abulele hasn't played a lot of rugby this year, but we all know how class he is. He played against the Barbarians, but that's more of of a good run out. It's not an OET out. It's not an intensity match. So Damien's proof. We have a number 115, at the moment. But we also know when we go to a World Cup, or to very important matches, if Damien gets injured, so it's more giving Rassie a run there after his injury, and then again having some stability. Giving Damien a nice rest, Damien Dalenda a rest at 12, and then but also have an old head next to Andre there. So he did certainly play well last weekend, and we don't have to see any more of him at fullback. We know what he can do. Yes, and then Kieran Horn on the bench probably covering for us 10, 15, and if we're really in trouble, Damien can also move to 10.
Join us here on your World of Champions at 4:30 on Saturday as we take you through all of the analysis with a look to see if the Springboks can make it 2-2 and topple the Scots at Loftus.